Okay, hello everyone and happy Thursday. It's upper body day today. We're focusing on the upper body strength as well as our abs and our core today. Equipment wise, I will be using my 8-pound dumbbells, my loop bands, and then I will specifically be using a long band for the warm up as well as some of the exercises. I have my friend here, Theo, who is going to behave for us today and join us on the workout, so hopefully I don't have to run around too much. In addition to that stuff, you can also use your TRXs because we are going to be doing some rowing type exercises that you can hook those up and use them for. So let's get you started with this warm up. Again, if you have a long band, we will grab it and hold it as wide as we can, starting off with these pass-throughs where I'm keeping my arms straight, going all the way back behind and in front of the body, trying to move through the shoulders. You do not have the band. We will open up the palms behind us like this, and then close the palms in front of us like so. There and back is 1, and we are starting off with 20 of these guys to get you nice and loosened up in your shoulders. So we'll go through 20 times, there and back, moving through those shoulders. We'll get you guys moving. There we go. 20 of them. Very nice. Okay, so as we come to an end on those ones, the next one we will narrow out our stance in our hands. We're holding that band a little wider than our shoulders. If you have the one with handles, you can wrap them around the band around your wrists a couple times and hold the handles, because we're going to press all the way up and over our head and then bring this guy behind, hopefully touching the back of our shoulders, and then all the way up over our head and then in front, coming down to the collarbones. There and back is 1, and we will be doing 10 of these. So the goal here is to move your arms and your shoulders behind the head and make them do the moving rather than poking our neck out of the way. So we want to keep everything in our neck as still as possible. Same rules apply if you do not have that long band. You are just following along with no band, pretending that you are holding one in your hands. So we'll get through 10 times there and back. Once you are finished, we're actually going to put that band down and stick our arms out to the sides into our infamous swimmers. We know these ones are all about getting the shoulders burning. So that's what we're going to be going for here as you join me on these palms facing down, trying to swim those arms up and down in these little movements, going until we feel that burning sensation. So I have a timer running here. We're doing 15 seconds, which if you started with me, we're about at the end of. The next one, we're going to turn the palms facing forward and follow through another 15 seconds where I am moving my hands and arms forward and backwards. So again, we're looking for that burning shoulder feeling that you're probably getting. And then as we finish up that one in about 5 seconds, you can just finish those ones up. We will come on down here onto the floor for the next one. We want to get ourselves into our hands and our knees. All 4 position, shoulders on the wrists, hips on the knees. We're going to take one hand and put it behind our head. Reach this elbow down towards the top of that opposite hand, and then we'll exhale and follow that elbow with our eyeballs looking right up towards the ceiling. So again, we'll close, try to see if we can get that elbow close to the hand, not forcing anything though, and then open and try to look where that elbow is going right above our head. We'll go through 10 of these per side, 10 on this side, and then we shall switch and do 10 on the other side. And this one might feel a little bit more tight and limited than the thread the needle where we kind of reach our hand through. So don't be surprised if you feel like you can't quite get as open. But as you go through your 10, we will see if maybe we can make it a little looser towards the 10th. Maybe a bit of an exhale might help us. So we'll go through those ones, 10 of them per side. And then we are standing back up. And I have a list here because yes, perfect. Okay, so once we are finished that one, we're going to grab back on to that band here and work with some pull aparts. So we'll hold the band, same stance here, a little bit wider than our shoulders. Arms are straight out in front of us for this next one here. We'll pull that band apart, stop before it hits the body, and then stop before it goes loose, like so. We'll pull apart 20 reps total. Try and keep the arms straight. This one's all about warming up and activating all the muscles between your shoulder blades, behind the shoulders, in that upper back. So we'll try to keep the shoulders relaxed, and we will go through 20 of those. 20 reps. there you go. So we have one more movement, so a little combination move. No band needed for this last one. We're going to be working with our external and internal rotations. So you can place that band down and pick up your arms and place them in this 90-degree angle here. They're tucked in nice and close to the body. First one we're working with is that external rotation. So we're trying to open up, moving through that shoulder. So this part of our arm stays completely still. We're just rotating that arm outward as far as we can at this time in our lives, at this hour of the day. And eventually the goal is to get that hand in line with your arm, maybe just in front of it in line. So we'll see if we can exhale and get that range a little bit bigger towards the end of 10 reps of these ones here. So again, top part of the arm stays still. This is going to look different for everyone. Some of us are going to be quite mobile, whereas others might not have as much movement, and that is okay. 10. And then we'll work with our internal rotation. So you can lift up those arms now, do a little shoulder check, make sure you are 90 degrees. And then the same thing here, we're trying to see if we can get this forearm and hand below the elbow without dropping the elbows. So we want to keep those guys lifted, and we'll work with this internal rotation. These two movements are all about working and warming up your rotator cuffs, which we've talked about before, which you've definitely heard of before. It's a complex of muscles and stuff in your shoulders. And it's really important that we warm it up, especially if we are going to be working the shoulders, which is a part of the deal today. It's on the menu. Shoulders and back for our upper body, which is where we are going to start when you are done 10 of those. So once you're done, you can roll it out. Roll out your shoulders. If you want to swing out your arms, just loosen up everything that we just did. And we are going to get you started with our two first movements. So we're going to combine today a shoulder exercise and a back exercise, doing them back to back with little to no rest in between each movement and in between each set. So we'll start off with this first one, which is going to be a standing single arm shoulder press. So we've been working with our shoulder press. We've done this before in both the standing and our half kneeling position. Today we're going standing, and what we're going to do today is work with a rep range of 10 reps. So what I'm going to do eventually is use both of my dumbbells. I have both of my 8-pounders here, but the shoulders, again, they're quite sensitive. So what I'm going to do is one warm-up set with one dumbbell, my 8-pounder, before I go into that 16-pound press. Okay, so if you are joining me and you are going to use something that's maybe about heavier than 15 pounds, I would highly suggest grabbing something a bit lighter and starting off with a warm-up set with me here, and go through your 10 reps on each side to prepare your shoulder and everything in there for this press, especially because we are going to be working with something maybe a little bit heavier as we're doing 10 reps. So we'll start our first set. If you only have one set of dumbbells, that's okay. If you want to start with that one there, you can start your first set here. We're going to do 10 reps on each side. So we'll follow through 10 over here, and then we'll switch, do 10 on the other side. Once we're finished that, we're going right into our first official working set. Okay, so most likely that first set you did there was a warm-up set. It's probably not the hardest thing in the world. So what we're going to do is go through our first set here. Now I have, again, both my dumbbells. I will bring them up here. We're in this neutral position in our arm, strong arm out here, and we press up and over our head, going through 10 reps per side. Now, if you're stuck with the same weight or you just simply want to make this feel a little bit more challenging, a couple things we can do are spend a little bit more time at the top here, this wobbly, unstable position. We can also slow down our lowering phase. And if we do that, it's going to make every rep feel more challenging, and the whole 10 will be more challenging, because we don't want to be thinking that we can get to 12 or 15. We just want 10. Okay, so let's get that on both sides. We are going to pair this one with a variation of a Superman. A little different how we normally do it. For this Superman today, we are going to need lots of space around us. And I'm actually going to angle us a little bit, pull us back. Okay, because we are going to need space, enough space that you can lay down on your tummy and essentially extend your arms all the way around like this. Okay, so of course, if you don't have this much space, which I presume most of us do, but if we don't, I will have an option that kind of tucks in the arms a little bit. But what we're going to do is lay down on our tummy, make sure that we are clear of all stuff. Make sure the dumbbells aren't in the way. You do that before you lay down. And then we are going to lay down on our tummy here, legs down, feet down, as per usual when we're doing our Superman. Arms up, palms down, and we're going to have the arms go straight all the way around and squeeze behind us here in a straight position. And then I bring them back forward, never touching the floor. So I'm just going to kind of scooch over a bit as this hand's a bit close to the wall. So I lift those arms up, keep them lifted, palms down, squeeze my shoulders back, and then I come all the way back up to the center. The entire time I'm tucking in my chin, looking at the floor, and trying to keep my shoulders off the floor. So we're going through 15 of these. So you can join me down here on the floor in these Supermans. These ones, when we're thinking about the shoulder blades coming together, we're going to feel a lot of stuff in our upper back. Okay, we probably always feel a lot of stuff when we do these Supermans, but this straight arm situation, hopefully you're feeling that squeeze as we bring those arms together. You have 15 chances in that set to feel that, okay? And then we are going to do this again. So I know we had a little sneaky warm-up set in there, but that was one set. So we will complete 3 more of those with little to no rest. So once you're done down here in those straight arm, Supermans, we will stand back up and try to go through our second set of that overhead press, okay? So 10 reps on each side. One goes back up here. And let's do it, okay? Now, for those of you who do not have dumbbells, okay? Weighted household item, something weighted in your hands, or we can always use our bands. We can go one side of the band in each hand like this, and then we can press up against this band like so. We've also recently been talking about anchoring our bands, so we can attach this guy under something like this, and then we can work with that anchored band for this overhead press. Okay, so again, the bands, they're always going to be a little bit easier to manipulate, make them harder or easier, especially if you're only stuck with like one set of dumbbells. It's either too light or too heavy, especially for the shoulders. Some of us, if it's too heavy, it's just simply going to be impossible. If it's too light, it's going to be maybe a little bit too easy, no matter how much you pause. And so the bands will kind of always fit that little sweet spot if you feel like you need that. Okay, but remember, we want 10 reps, and then we want them to be really hard, all right? Not 12, not 15. We want to be thinking that is it, okay? 10 is it. What are you doing back here? Get out of there. There you go. Okay, so we'll get this going on here on our second set, second round. And let's do it. This guy is messing stuff up already. There you go. Okay, so let's get it going on here. 10 and 10, and then we are going through our 15 Supermans down and on the floor, and they're all about our back. Very important that you are actually feeling that. So if you need, again, a reminder, you want to remember that that shoulder blade squeeze, kind of bringing your shoulder blades together, is important. You don't want to just let them kind of roll forward like this the whole time down on the floor when we're doing that Superman. We want to lift the arms and squeeze those shoulders. And if you can do that, you will feel how that feels compared if you don't. So we have 2 more rounds. We will try to get through. Again, trying to go back to back. Burning upper body. Okay, so we'll work with our third set. Nice deep breaths, and every time we're pressing over our head, thinking about that exhale, helping us out, pushing up that weight, getting us through those 10 reps. There you go. So for those of you who don't really have too much space, hopefully you just presumed that we do the exact same thing, that Superman with the straight arms, but we just have a slight bend in our arms, depending on how much room we actually have, because I get it. I mean, you guys see me, I'm kind of in this corner here. We don't have a lot of space to work with, and so that might be the case for you as well. So if you need to, you can slightly bend the arms, but same rules apply on the Superman. No matter how straight or bend your arms are, we need those shoulder blades squeezing together. Okay, we don't want to leave them down here like this. We want to make sure to pull them. Imagine that there was something between your shoulder blades and you were having to bring them together around whatever that is. Okay, so we'll see if we can get that going on here on our third set. This one is surprisingly more challenging than it looks. For being a body weight exercise, those ones are typically the hardest though. I feel like we can all agree on that most of the time. So we have one more set. Okay, we'll get through these Supermans down here, 15 of them. Taking our sweet time. And then we have one more round of both of these that we will get through. And then we are done this part. Moving on to the next part. There we go. Okay. Fourth set, let's do it. Okay, so we'll try our best to get going onto our final round. We have about 3 minutes to finish up this last set, which is plenty of time for you to finish this one if you're still working on third, and then start the last one. It's just enough time. Very nice. Okay, so we'll work through 10. You got it. Get them going on evenly, as even as possible, although you probably have one side. Feels much more strong than the other, but we know we want to keep it even. So use your breath, get through that set. It's your last one. And then we will finish up down on the floor with our 15 straight arm Supermans. Call these ones the around the world Supermans. Probably guess why. But this is going to be your final set of them. Okay, so we'll finish strong up here. 10, 10, and then a final set down on the floor at 15 of those supers. And then we shall be moving on to the next 2 exercises. Okay. You're going to need all this stuff, plus even maybe more if you are using a TRX. Now is your time to shine, to set it up, as you may want to use it for our rows that we have coming up in the next 2 supersets. So I'll give you 1 more minute here to finish up before I start talking about our final part. If you are already kind of coming to an end, or if you finish early, you can walk it up, grab some water, and get yourself set up for the next part, which again is going to use all that same stuff with the option of a TRX as well as the option of an anchored band. Okay, so this is one that I kind of like to throw in where you take that orange band, just like I did there with our press, and I anchor it underneath our bookshelf here. And you can use pretty much any anchor point that is stable, that's not going to move, and any band. Okay, the one with the handles, the one without. And so that is another thing that you can use. And that will be for our first exercise, which I'm going to start talking about, which is our 1-arm rows. So we're going to be working with the single arm row, both sides, 15 reps of these 1-arm rows on each side. So what I'm going to be doing are using my dumbbell, same style as I did on that shoulder press, with both of them stacked on top of each other like this. I'll be standing in a hip width apart stance in my feet, soft knees, pushing my hips back so I'm in this nice bent over position. Palm is going to face in, same strong arm out here, and then we're going to pull in and slightly around the ribs into our neutral grip row. And today we're working with 15 of these. So this is going to be your first movement. We are going to pair this with a shoulder exercise, but this is the first one. So you can start and join me here as soon as you are set up and ready for our first round of our bent over rows. So we're doing 15 of these. Now again, other options for equipment. We can anchor that band under our foot on something stable. We can also set up that TRX, which is a wonderful option, and use that for our 1-arm row, rowing in our body weight. So let's get this done. First round of 15 reps on each side. And then we are going to have a little something going on with this, which we'll talk about when you are finished with your first set of these 15 on each side. Very nice. Nice high rep range. So you should be feeling back already from that first Superman we did, but definitely now on these ones. So we'll get this done on both sides. And then we are working some shoulders with this one. We have a lateral raise coming at you with this one in a superset. So once you're finished your rows on both sides, we are going to work with 15 reps of this lateral raise. Now what I'm going to use are my dumbbells, one in each hand, these 8-pounders. This is going to be quite challenging to do 15 normal reps like this. If you're someone who's kind of stuck with lighter weights, what you can work with are our T-hold raise, where we hold the weights up. We lower down one side at a time. Ooh, okay. And on the flip side of all of that, if your weights are a bit too heavy, we can pull them in. So we have a slight bend in the arm, and we can do the same raise here. And it's going to make it feel a lot easier than if we just have straight arms, okay? Because we're doing 15, and you might need a little something to be able to get through that set. So let's get going on to this one. Again, laterals, straight arms down by the sides. We're lifting them up into a T, no higher, and then down beside the hips. If you're working with bands, ideally a long band is best. We can hold one side in each hand like this, and then work with our lateral raise. Again, if your weights are a little bit light, you can hold them up and work with one side coming down at a time. T-hold, raise, and just count out your 15 of those ones. Ooh-wee, burning shoulders. So we'll get through our first round. Yay! We have 3 more to go after this one. Same style as that first set, although this one might burn a little bit more, feel a little bit more, maybe just because of these lateral raises, they just tend to burn more. But we will try our best to go into our next 3 rounds with no rest in between. So we'll go back to back, right into our second set. Maybe just a quick sip of water and a couple deep breaths, that's okay. But no prescribed rest into our second round of those 1-arm rows. Okay, so nice high rep range all around here, 15 on each. And let's do it. So every rep, trying to pull that shoulder behind the ear. We want that strong arm out to the side, strong position in our core. And we'll get through 15 of them. All right, let's do it. Okay. Very nice. Okay, so we'll get through our second set. And okay, second round, the rows. We'll get going right into the lateral raises. Nice work. Okay, little to no rest in between. With these sort of rep ranges, when we're doing this higher stuff, this 15 reps, okay, this one is all about endurance. It's about you trying to stay consistent in your reps, but being able to do something that's manageable for 15, okay? There's a reason why we do 10 reps. There's a reason why we do 8, 5, all those numbers, they have a reason. And 15 does too. And it's a higher rep range, which you feel, so it probably burns a lot more. But we will try our best to push ourselves in that through this set and the next 2, okay? Because we have 2 more. No matter how much burn is going on, this is the type of burn that we can work through, okay? This kind of slow, achy pain that creeps up on you. It gets worse and worse every rep and every set. This is why we're here. So I'll try to work into this for 2 more rounds. Okay. There we go. Lateral raises. Okay, so So we'll get through our second set. And on shoe. There we go. Okay, finishing up strong. Again, using that exhale on the way up on these laterals, that's when it's going to help you. That's the hardest part. Okay, and then we'll go right into our third round of the rows. There you go. This is typically the hardest part, is us not taking any rest and just kind of going between these sets. Yay, it's part of the deal. So we will try to get through it on this one and our final one, whereas we have a little bit more rest in our last part. Okay, so third set, back into our nice strong bent over position, working with this row and pulling that shoulder behind the ear, making sure that we don't have anything less than a 90-degree angle in our elbows. Sometimes that's kind of hard to see, but you probably have 90 degrees here if you're actually feeling this back muscle that runs down the side of our back. If you're not feeling that back muscle on those rows, we need to fix that so that you are feeling it, okay? And what's maybe happening is this whole chicken wing arm that I sometimes talk about, which is overuse of the biceps, and we start to use the arm muscle, not so much the back muscle. So to fix that, all you have to do is think about pulling the shoulder back rather than having to kind of stay behind like this. If we can pull that shoulder back, you'll be less inclined to hike that elbow up, and overall you'll get more and feel more in your back muscle, which we want. All right, third set, very nice. Okay, so we have one more round, this one and our final one, and then we are on our last part of strength. Look at us go. Okay. There it is. Awesome. Okay, let's get it done. Finishing strong. And then we'll get to our final round. You have about 4 minutes, which is plenty of time to finish up this set and do one whole more set, which will be the last one on these ones. So we will really try to take our time. Okay, 4 minutes, lots of time. So if you want to slow down, pause, and we know that those two things always make our exercises harder. So if you want that in this last set, then please add it in. Okay, so let's get it in. Last set. Okay, final round of our rows of our laterals. And then we're done this part. Okay. There you go. Nice work. Okay, so non-rolling arm, nice and strong. And we're breathing, exhaling when we pull in on this one. For every 15 of those reps, we can go back. Okay, we should be feeling it a lot by now. On this last set, okay, we have 2 minutes to do our thing, finish them up, and then we shall move on to the last part. There you go. It's very nice. Rolling it in. Okay, so last set. Finishing strong, keeping it even on both sides. Okay, so whatever you do on the first side, we'll try to keep it consistent to our second side. And then you are done these one-arm rows. We have one final set of our laterals, 15 reps, okay? And then we'll take about a minute or two of rest before we go into our last part for our strength. Already there. All right, so we'll take our time with this last set of our 15 laterals. Again, if you really do want to feel this, go with a bang, slowing down, okay? trying to do these T-hold raises, or simply just taking more time, holding the top for a second. We're not just getting up there and leaving, but actually just staying up there for 1 second and controlling that top end position, which we know is the hardest position, that top part. We know this, which is why this one with the lowerings, we know is a burner. Okay, but this is it. This is your final round, 15 of them, and then you can put them down. Keep everything close though, because we are going to need it for our last part. But you can shake it out and grab yourself some water before we start our final part here, which is 3 exercises, and it's on a timer, which is nice. Doesn't matter how many rounds we get. We are going to be doing it for 10 minutes, okay? So what you can do right now, once you're finished those laterals, okay, you grab some water, swing out your arms. That kind of stuff does help to kind of disperse that burning sensation that you might be feeling. We are going to stick you guys on a AMRAMP timer. So that's our as many rounds as possible acronym. 10 minutes of your life is going to be dedicated to these 3 exercises, and we are going to complete as many sets of them as we can in our 10 minutes, okay? And I'm going to show you the first movement. We are going to do it together. I'll press start on the timer so that we can get to work, so that we can finish wide grip rows coming at you hot for the first one. So I'm going to put myself back into this bent over position, dumbbell in each hand, nice posture, bent over, and we are pulling in and wide into this wide grip position, 10 reps of these ones, okay? So what we're doing here is trying to lift those elbows way up into this wide position here. Sometimes we have ourselves in this sort of A position in our wide rows, but today we want to push those elbows up into this T position, which is going to target much more of the back of our shoulder and a little bit less through our back. But that's what we're going for, is that work in the rear delt, the back of the shoulder. So let me press start on this bad boy. And there we go. It has started, and so have you. So we'll start our first set. Again, dumbbells can be subbed in for bands or TRXs. Same rules apply. We want to make sure we have that kind of upright position going 90 degrees at the elbows, and those elbows are sitting right above our wrists so that we don't have the wrists kind of lifting up, but rather they're sitting right below. 10 reps. Okay, not so bad. That's the first one. There you go. So we'll get through our 10. Second exercise is going to also use those dumbbells, unless of course you don't have them. Then you can hold a loop band or a long band, one side of each hand. Second one, we are going to hammer curl and then press up over our head. Unpress, uncurl. Palms never turn. They're going to face in the whole time. I'm pulling up here above my shoulders and then pressing, unpress, uncurl. That's 2 reps. All the way up, down, back here. That's 3. Okay, so that whole thing, the curl and the press, with the return equals 1, and we are doing 10 of these. So you can start your set with me here. Again, if you don't have dumbbells, you can always use 1 dumbbell sideways. So if you have like pretty heavy dumbbells, you can go like this and just hold 1 and press and curl like that. Or of course, we can sub this in for bands. So I have these kind of wrapped together, which works. Or it can be 1 single band, whatever it is. And then we can just press and curl through our 10. Okay, final one. We're going into our band pull-aparts. So we had these guys in the warm-up. We are back for the work. So we have 20 reps of these pull-aparts, straight arms, relaxed shoulders. I'm holding that band a little bit wider than my shoulders. You can use a long band or 2 loop bands together. And then we are going through 20 reps of these pull-aparts, stopping before we hit our chest, and then stopping before we go wet noodle, loose band, okay? 20, 20, 20. If you don't have the band, you get yourself here, thumbs up, and work with our reared out slides like this. Okay, so 20 of those, and then once you're done, you can take about 30 to 45 seconds of a rest. How's this nice rest? Before we start our second set. Now, we're on a timer. You have 7.5 minutes left, which is plenty of time, okay? Plenty of time for you to complete at least 3 to 4 more sets, as well as even take a little bit of time between the sets. We don't want to take time between the exercises, as you saw and as you did, but after we're done all of them, once we're finished those band pulls there, that's when we want to just give everything that quick 30 to 45 seconds to rest, okay? Because now we have to go into our second set, which is back to these wide grip rows, okay? Which use very similar muscles to our band pull aparts. So we will take that time, a couple sips of water, and then come join me here when you're ready for your second set, all right? Back to that first one, our wide grip rows. So I talked a lot about the dumbbell. You can also use a band, pulling in like this, or anchored band attached to something. All right, let's get it. 6.5 minutes, plenty of time to take your time with these ones. So again, we're going through our curls to presses. Sometimes we do some rotating stuff with the arms and at the curl and at the press, but today we're keeping it very simple. We're doing no turn, just that hammer curl. That's the one we call when we don't turn our hand. And then we press in this sort of same neutral grip position. We just go through our entire set. Now there's a little easy, simple way to make this feel harder. If you're using dumbbells, that is. If you want to make them feel a lot heavier, what you can do is hold them in front of your body like this. And now when we curl and we press, and you can try this on your next couple sets, already I'm feeling a lot of work on my arms and my shoulders just from holding the weights here rather than back here. So if I do this the whole set, I'm going to feel that much more tension and work on my arm muscles and on my shoulders, whereas if I keep them by my side, I'm not going to get that as much. So again, if you're kind of stuck in between weights, if you're working with something that's maybe a little bit on the lighter side, that is a very simple thing that you can try that will kind of crank up that whole set and make it feel more challenging, because that's what we want. We don't want them, we don't want it to be easy. And sometimes we just don't have that perfect weight. And so these little tweaks and changes will go a long way. All right, less than 5 minutes left. That means you're more than halfway. So that is great news. Okay, this is going to conclude our strength. Once we're finished, a couple more sets of this, whatever we can get done in the next 4.5 minutes. And then we are hanging out. We have 3 ab exercises, core movements that we are going to do on the floor. And we're going to take us to the very end of today's class. So we will get through, again, maybe 2 more sets, maybe 1 if you want to take your sweet time with it. It doesn't really matter how many sets you get, okay? Most important is that you are feeling each set and all of these exercises by the end of the sets. All right. We'll work through. We're taking a little bit of rest, and you can probably feel why we have this in here, because it burns. Okay, and so we'll take this time. You can swing out your arms, roll out your shoulders, whatever you want to do, and then we will get going on our next set. Perfect. Perfect. What's going on over here? All right, my friends, let's get it done. Last couple of sets. We'll take about 3 minutes to finish it up. For our final round or 2, depending on where you're at. Okay, we have 3 minutes left to see how much we can get. Okay, that being said, I know whenever you're on this timer, you might feel inclined to kind of rush through your exercises in order to get more sets. That's not the idea here, and that's why I don't tell you a certain amount of sets. Somewhere between 3 and 5 is what you're going to get. It doesn't really matter how many you actually get. What matters is that you're making these exercises and the rep range challenging for yourself, which is why we're on this timer, which is why we do this style, because we're all different, and we all have different equipment, our bodies are different, and we feel stuff different. And so this is going to give everybody, no matter what you got going on here in terms of equipment, your body, a great opportunity to get the most out of these exercises, because we have time, and we can go slow in our set, or we can go normal pace with, a heavier weight, whatever it is that we have. By the end of this, 2 more minutes, we should be feeling worked, okay, in these 3 movements. And that is really on you to do, okay? I try to give you guys the options, the harder and the easier options, but you have to apply those, okay? So we'll try to think about that here on our final set. Here we go. On the last round. Okay, we'll take a minute and a half. Get this in. There it is. Okay, so last set. And we'll take our time with it. Okay, so less than a minute. I will leave this clock running, of course, but let's make this one your last set. Okay, so wherever you are right now, let's finish this set. We'll get these curl and presses in. We'll get the band pull-aparts in. We'll try to take our time with it. If you go a little bit over time, that's okay, because we do have about 2 minutes of transition time before we really need to start our final part. Okay, and you have 30 seconds left to finish up this part. Okay, but again, if you need to take a little longer, that's fine. All right. Okay, so we have about 10 seconds, and I'm actually going to turn this timer off, okay, because I want you to finish that set. So once you're done your final round of that exercise, your band pull aparts there, we are going to stop and grab ourselves some water and move on and get ready for our final part, which is all down on the floor, all about our abs and our core, okay? So timer is off, so just finish up your 20, and then once you're done, you can come on down. You will need potentially some equipment. We are going to have some options for this first exercise specifically, which is a dead bug. So today, I ideally would like you to anchor a band behind you. So what I'm going to do is take this band and loop it underneath this leg of this bookshelf here, so that I have one side of the band kind of coming out like this, and then I'll be laying on my back with that band behind my head like so, and pulling it over like this, legs up, working with a dead bug. Now this band wants my arms back. It also wants my lower back off the floor. So it's making it that much harder for me to keep my back down and for me to keep my arms or my wrists over top of my shoulders like this. So this is ideal. But again, some of us don't have this as an option. Okay, so what you can do instead is grab onto some dumbbells or some form of weighted item in your house and put it up here like this, and then just drop it back a bit. And it's going to give you that same kind of pulling benefit as that band, and then we can start our dead bug. Okay, so hold up, because this is going to be our first one, but I have not pressed start on our timer, and that is what we're going to work with, okay? So just get yourself set up for that one. We have a count of 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off. In that 15 seconds, I will show you our next couple exercises, and then we'll get this done, okay? We are going through 4 rounds total, and then we are out of here and finished for the day. So that is good news. All right, so I'm just setting our timer, making sure our rest is there. 15 seconds. Okay, so starting in 5 seconds. So get yourself ready. 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Here we go. Let's do it. Timer has started. Okay, so whatever you're using, then the most important thing is that your lower back is being squished down into the floor. We can make this feel a little easier by keeping the legs bent. So if you cannot keep your back down, I would highly suggest to keep your legs bent like this, rather than straightening them out and losing the back, okay? Because that's the most important part, is that your low back stays squished down into the floor. So if that's not happening, then you are not really getting the benefit of this one. Okay, so we'll keep going here. 10 more seconds left. And exhaling when we send the legs out. There we go. 3, 2, 1, and time. Okay, so second one, what we're going to do is either put those dumbbells down. Okay, if you want, there's an option in this next one to hold 1 or 2 light dumbbells in our hands. We're going to lift our legs up like this, working with a weighted crunch. So all I'm doing is shoulders down onto the floor and shoulders off of the floor. Whatever weight you're holding in your hands is going to make this harder. Okay, so if you're choosing to do body weight, it's probably going to feel a little bit easier than someone who had maybe 1 or maybe even 2 weights in their hands. For these ones, we want the weight staying over top of our shoulders, and then shoulders leave, shoulders touch the floor. Shoulder blades leave, shoulder blades touch. That's what's happening, and that is all in your upper ab muscles, kind of pulling those shoulder blades off of the floor. Very nice. There it is. 3, 2, 1. Woo! Okay, so you can flip over. So we have one more. We're going to flip into a plank position. And I'm going to take both of my dumbbells so that they're on over one side here. We're going to get ourselves into a high plank and pull that dumbbell through and put it down on the other side. I'll take both of them and then we'll switch. So if you only have one dumbbell, then you just work with the one. But if you have 2, then you can move 1, move 2. Okay, we know anytime we're in this planking position, anytime we're moving, the goal is to keep our hips stable from doing that tilting and shifting. So we'll pull those hips down, try to really squeeze our butt and squeeze our legs. 20 seconds left, okay? Try and move that dumbbell side to side, keeping it tight. If you can't control your hips, widen up your feet, and it will help. Try it. There you go. 3, 2, 1, and time. All right, my friends. So we are, excuse me, back to where we started. Okay, back to the first one. Laying on our back here, going through our dead bug. All right, so flip around, grab onto whatever you were using. Bands, dumbbells. My band came loose. Here we go. Okay, let's go. So second setting, exhaling as we send the leg out. Trying to keep the back down. Breathing through all of your reps. All right. Very nice. Okay, so 15 more seconds left. There it is. Strong finish. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and time. Okay, so you can, again, relax that band if you're using the band. Put it down. You can hold the band in your hands, but it is extremely challenging to do that crunch with the band, which is why I suggest the dumbbell. It's a little bit more free. And here we go. So we're holding that weight. Again, not dropping it behind our head, which is something that we're quite used to doing when we do this sort of toe-touching action. Today we're just focusing on, again, relaxing the shoulders and then exhaling and pulling them off the floor using those ab muscles. So you have to think about it as sort of crunching in to pull yourself up and breathing. Exhaling will always help. If you think about exhaling as you crunch up, it's going to help you get through that set. 15 more seconds of it. Okay, you got this. All right. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and time. All right, so we are going to flip into a plank position. Now, at this point, you're probably feeling a lot in your core and your abs, okay? So remember, the most important thing here is that you're holding a plank. Let's go. So we'll lift up into that high plank. Stay there, bring that dumbbell close, and we'll try to move that guy right to left, okay? But we know that that's making this plank way harder. So if that is something that you can't maintain for 30 more seconds, then just don't worry about the dumbbell, okay? You can just stay there and just plank it out. Maybe tap your hand to the right and the left, but the weight will influence the challenge, and it will influence the intensity. So if you're moving something heavier, it's going to make it feel a lot harder on your core because it is. 15 seconds left. Okay, but again, planking is most important. especially with all this other stuff we got going on here. This plank, at this point, that might just be challenging enough. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, we have 2 more sets, and then we are done for the day. Okay, back to the first one, the dead bug. Okay, so lay down on the back. Get yourself ready. 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Okay, so again, back down. Lots of stuff going on that exhale. We're trying to exhale, squish the back down, as well as send the leg out. All of that is happening at the same time. So we'll see if we can lock that in here on this set. 30 more seconds. Every rep, breathing to rhythm. There it is. Okay, 15 seconds. You got this. Second last time you are here. Not so bad. No. Maybe right now it feels quite bad. It's okay. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Nice job. Okay, so just relax there for a second. Take a couple of deep breaths. Okay, we're going to lift up those legs. Again, trying to keep them straight, but a little bit of bend in the knee is fine, depending on how flexible you are at this time in your life. And here we go. Okay, shoulder blades on the floor, shoulder blades off the floor. That's what's up here. You're feeling tension and work happening in your neck. It's because there's muscles in your neck. What helps that is to tuck your chin. If you tuck the chin in, you're not going to involve them as much as if you're kind of looking up and back, poking your neck forward. So tuck it in and keep in mind that you're working everything in the neck. So you might feel some tension, but it shouldn't be overwhelming. And if it is, remember to relax your head on the floor between every rep. 15 seconds left. There you are. Okay, strong finish here. We have 1 more round, and then we are done. 3, 2, and time. Okay, plank position. And the plank, of course, cannot forget about the plank. Flipperoo, plank position, high plank. Okay, so again, if you try doing the dumbbells and it just wasn't happening, it was too hard, don't worry about them. Okay, you can hold this. You can even work with a tap on the shoulder, or you can tap on the floor, kind of where you would normally grab that dumbbell. And that is going to be kind of that halfway point between actually moving the dumbbell and just simply holding the plank. By moving the arm and actually having to have something to move, we're making this more of a dynamic exercise, and we're involving more muscles in your core than we would have if we weren't doing that. Okay, because it takes a lot of work to stabilize, which you feel. Okay, when you go to lift up that arm and kind of want to fall over, that's this work. Okay, so for 15 more seconds, actually 10 now. Okay, for you to just breathe, get through this. 1 more round. 3, 2, 1. And rest. Okay, last set, you guys, you got this. This is it, and then we can be done for the last time. Yay. We have a couple of independent stretches I'm going to leave you guys with. You can do in your own time. We'll talk about that once we're done here. Okay, so let's get going here on our dead bug, on our last set. Eating the dirt out of my plant. Come on. Yeah, I know you don't. Okay. All right, 30 seconds, you guys, you got this. Last set and last chance on these ones. So finish just as strong as we started on that first fresh set that you did. That first set, 15 more seconds of this. There it is. Exhaling, back down, even tighter. Push it down stronger. See if you can for 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, and the dead bug is done. All right, we have those focus crunches, and then our plank, and then we're done. All right, 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Okay, lift up those legs, lift up those arms, grab a dumbbell if you want to use it, or 2 maybe, and let's do this thing. Okay, last set, last round. Let's go back to the dirt. Seriously? Okay, 25 seconds, you guys. We got this going on. There it is. Okay, shoulder blades leave and stay every rep. That's what you're focusing on for 10 more seconds. It's only a few more. You got this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and okay, our last one, the plank, best for last. Maybe the hardest one, I don't know, that dead bug and those crunches, those ones always feel quite challenging right in the abs. All right, let's go. Okay, last one is plank. We have an overall core situation going on here. And very important that you don't have those hips shifting and tilting and moving. So try to tighten them up. 30 more seconds. Okay, you got this. See if you can have that little bit more control than you normally do. And we're breathing because we know that holding our breath does not help. Okay, it just makes us a little dizzy, a little lightheaded at the end of the set. And that's not what we want. So 10 more seconds, keep that breath flowing, finishing strong here in this plank. Don't give up, keep those knees up. 3, 2, 1, and time. And we are so very done. Wow. Hopefully you guys feel good. Maybe not quite yet, but you will once we kind of stretch a little bit, cool down, drink some water, all that stuff. We are going to start you off today with a hip flexor stretch. So I would highly suggest you do this if you're going to do anything, is take some time to stretch out the front of your hips. You can either half kneel or you can do this one in a standing position and kind of lunge forward here. But we did a lot of work, okay, yesterday, the day before, and today for the front of the hips as well as front of the legs, which you're probably maybe feeling a little left over for. So we'll take about 1 minute, maybe a little bit longer than that, upward of 90 seconds to hold this stretch on each side, all right? Doesn't matter what one you do, it just comes down to what one you like better, all right? We'll try to do at least one set, maybe 2 to 3. We want to make ourselves some stretching time right now, but this one is definitely one that you should get done today. In addition to this one, we should absolutely take some time to stretch out our chest and shoulders so we can go through finding ourselves a door frame, a wall, something that we can put our hands on to open up that chest and shoulder. Because we're wanting to kind of make it a bit more shoulder focused, you can think about having the hands a bit lower than we normally do, which is going to involve a bit more through the actual shoulder and not so much kind of through the chest. So we didn't do as much chest exercises, if any, today. We kind of focused more on the shoulders and the back. So same thing here, about a minute set at least, maybe 2 or 3 if you would like to kind of come back between them. We know that the more rounds gives us more benefit for these stretches, okay? Anything else, my friends, that you want to throw in today, please feel free to do so. If the legs are feeling tight, you can get down there, stretch out your glutes. But you guys are done with me. Thank you so much. Thank you, Allison and Dave, for joining me in the Zoom room. So nice having you guys here. I will hopefully see you guys soon, and hopefully you all have a great day. And I will see you tomorrow, because tomorrow's Friday, and it's our leg day. Okay, have a great day, you guys. Bye. And of course, my replay watchers, if you're watching this and you enjoyed this workout, maybe you didn't really enjoy it, but you feel good now because you're done, please drop a comment below so that I know you were here. Okay, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.